Good evening. Welcome to our Principles of Management class. My name is Nicholas Mtetesha. The session of this class is prepared for DBS 1051 students of the 2021 UNZA Adult Education Extension Studies. For us to understand what management is, we first of all must understand what an organization is. And so, in the simplest definition I can put together, drawn from the writings of R.L. Daft, is that an organization is a social entity which is deliberately structured and is goal-directed and operates in an open environment. From this definition, we find four critical defining features of an organization. These are as follows. An organization is a social entity. This means that its building blocks are people. What makes an organization is not the buildings, it's the people operating in those buildings. An organization is deliberately structured, meaning it is a formal institution. There is a deliberate step to ensure that this social entity exists. It doesn't just exist without any purpose. This social entity is goal-directed. It has a common and distinct purpose. So, a group of random people moving in the streets cannot be termed an organization. They have to be deliberately structured. They have to have a common goal. They have to work together towards that common goal. Another defining feature of an organization that we've seen is that it operates in an open environment. This implies that every organization exists for its own self and also it exists for others. Meaning every organization will need resources from outside environment, while it will also need to convey its outputs to the outside environment. What then is management? There are several definitions of management. I'm going to just highlight two for now. The first definition that we are going to highlight is a definition by Mary Parker Follett, where management is defined as the art of getting things done through others. Here, management is seen as an art which requires skills, an art which requires competencies. So, in the definition of Mary Parker Follett, we find management as an art. On the other hand, George R. Terry defines management as a process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling activities to determine and accomplish objectives by the use of people and resources. Here, management being defined as a process relates to it as a science with distinct processes and systems through which those activities are going to be accomplished. Those goals are going to be accomplished. So, in the many definitions of management, we find that most of these definitions of management can be grouped according to the different approaches of management. We are going to cover these approaches extensively in a later lesson. But generally, we are going to find that in the classical approach, the definitions of management are oriented towards production and efficiency. It's about how to produce more efficiently. In the human relations approach, the definitions of management focus on people. They are people-oriented. They are focused on ensuring that the management process ensures that human relations are effectively managed. A manager is defined by his ability to manage people. In the systems approach, management is defined in terms of functions. Here, The focus is on the input, processing, and output functions that the manager has to control. In the contingency approach, management is defined in terms of situational analysis. There is no one way of defining management. There is no one way of conducting or performing management functions or management roles. There is no one way of managing. Management is contingent to the situation in which the management is being applied. In the contemporary approach, management is viewed based on decision making. It is decision oriented. It is strategic in nature. It focuses not only on what is, but it integrates what was, what is, and what is to come. It focuses on analysis of the past, on scanning of the present environment, and focusing on future possible changes and how the manager can integrate the past, the present, and the future to ensure that this particular organization operates and functions effectively, efficiently, and most importantly, strategically. What then is the nature of management? Is management an art or is management a science? From what we've seen so far, we can conclude that management is both an art and a science. Why? Because management integrates both theory and practice. Management is not just an art. Management is also a science. Why? Because managers are required to do more than one function. Managers also perform non-managerial functions. Managerial functions are done in all organizations. Managerial functions are executed at all levels. Managerial functions have been defined using different types and different numbers of words. The aim of all managers is to create a surplus. Managing is concerned with efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity. So given these host of factors, we see in management both attributes of an art and attributes of a science. Let us further consolidate these points. We are saying management is multidisciplinary. It goes across all different disciplines. Management is dynamic. It is not constant, it is ever changing, it requires constant adaptation. Management is relative. This implies management differs from place to place, from scenario to scenario. It is contingent with the circumstances in which the management is being applied. The nature of management is that it is both an art and a science. Because management cuts across many dynamics, management has also emerged as a profession across the world. Many different management professional bodies have emerged. Management is universal. There is nowhere where you are not going to find management. From the smallest unit, the smallest family unit of two, to the largest nation, the largest global organizations that we have, management principles are applied. Management is integrative. This implies that management brings together things, brings together people, brings together resources. Management is the glue that brings together an organization. We also find that management is activity-based. It requires specific activities, it requires specific actions. So from the nature of management, we can derive the following features of management. Management is a process. Not only is it a process, management is a social process because management occurs in an organization which is a social entity. Management as a social process means management happens through people. Management is a group effort. Management occurs within a particular context. There is no management that happens in isolation. This means management does not occur in isolation. It requires other participants. It requires people. It requires support managerial functions. The other feature of management is that of attainment of predetermined objectives. Since an organization has predetermined objectives, the feature of management is to ensure the attainment of those predetermined objectives. Management is a distinct entity. Management is unique from other disciplines. The other feature of management is that it is a system of authority. It requires power. It requires authority. It requires legitimacy to function. One other feature of management is the universality of its nature. Management is universal. Management is needed at all different levels of an organization. It's needed at all different levels of institutions. Management is an integrative process. It requires bringing resources together for the attainment of the predetermined objectives. Management is both an art as well as a science. Management is a profession. As a profession, it has specific codes of ethics. It has specific standards. It has specific guidelines. It has specific qualifications needed. Management as a discipline means management can be studied, understood, with principles that can be applied and utilized to deal with specific challenges within an organization. What then are the functions of management? Well, there are many functions of management. For the purposes of this course, we are just going to cover 4. These include planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. What is planning? Planning can broadly be seen as a process of setting objectives and determining what actions should be taken to accomplish them. Organizing, on the other hand, can be seen as the process of assigning tasks, allocating resources, and coordinating work activities. Can broadly be seen as a process of arousing people's enthusiasm to work hard and direct their efforts to achievement of goals. While controlling can be seen as a process of measuring work performance and taking actions to ensure desired results are achieved. Given these management functions, what are the specific roles of a manager? Mintzberg, in his study of managerial roles, discovered 3 particular roles of a manager. These roles include interpersonal roles, informational roles, decision-making roles. Under interpersonal roles, the manager is a figurehead. The manager is a leader. The manager is a liaison. Under informational roles, the manager is a monitor, a disseminator, and a spokesperson. Under decisional roles, the manager is an entrepreneur, a disturbance handler, a resource allocator, and a negotiator. Let's look at these in detail. What are interpersonal roles of a manager? The interpersonal roles of a manager means the people orientational functions of a manager. Under here, we find 3 different roles. The manager is a figurehead. This means he's a public figure. He performs ceremonial duties. He represents the people whom he leads. Under interpersonal roles, A manager is also seen as a leader. A manager has a role to motivate and encourage people to accomplish organizational objectives. Under interpersonal roles, the manager performs liaison functions, meaning the manager connects individuals inside with individuals outside the organization. Informational roles. Informational roles implies the manager being a communicator, one who obtains information and shares information. Here, there are three distinct roles. The manager monitors and scans the environment. The manager scans the environment outside the organization. His role is to collect information from the environment and to process it and to disseminate it. Which brings us to the second role. He is a disseminator of information. He shares information within the company. The information he collects outside, relevant to the company, for the company to thrive and move forward. For the organization to move forward, that information the manager disseminates within the organization. But the manager also shares information outside the organization, relevant information outside the organization. Decisional roles of a manager. These are three, but of course there's a fourth. The manager is an entrepreneur. He adapts to change. And he helps the organization also to adapt to change. This is done by making decisions to adapt. The manager is a disturbance handler. He handles all problems that need immediate attention by making relevant decisions. The manager is a resource allocator. This means the manager allocates human resources, financial resources, capital resources, material resources, and all other resources to where they're supposed to be. It means the manager has to make a decision that the right people should be doing the right things at the right time. That is ensuring social order. There's also ensuring material order, that the right thing is at the right time, doing the right thing. This is material order. The manager is also a negotiator. Here, the manager makes decisions on schedules, resources, projects, and many other things. Lastly, with all that has been said and discussed, what is the relevance of management? Management is relevant to achieve group goals. Someone is needed to put things together to ensure the achievement of group goals. Management minimizes costs. The aim of management is to ensure efficiency in achieving those goals. Management is there to ensure that there is change and growth. Someone must be there to ensure that change and adaptation occurs, that growth and development occurs. Management is relevant for effectiveness and smooth running of the business. There can be no effectiveness if every person wants to do what they want to do and how they want to do it and when they want to do it. Management ensures higher profits. It ensures higher returns. Management provides innovation, motivates the group towards innovation. Management provides social benefits. It provides social and human relations benefits to its members. Management is relevant to effective utilization of resources. They are there to safeguard resources, to allocate resources effectively and efficiently. Management is there for the development of resources, most especially the human resource, to identify the areas in which the available resources may need to improve to ensure that the goals are achieved, that the costs are minimized, that change and development occurs, that higher profits are attained. Management is relevant for sound organizational structure. Without management, there cannot be organizational structures. And even if structures were there, the structures would need leadership for them to function in an organized manner. So management is there to ensure that there are structures, and also to ensure that these structures are operating in a sound and effective manner. Management is relevant for integration of various interest groups. Every organization has different interest groups, and the role of management is to bring together these different interest groups. For example, a profit-making organization has got its owners who need high profits, which entails low costs, which entails lower wages. But on the other hand, the manager also has people, workers, who want better conditions of service, which comes with higher costs. Therefore, the manager tries to bring together these different interest groups with different goals and aims, and tries to strike a balance between profit maximization for the owners and better conditions of service for the workers. Management ensures that there is stability in the society, stability in the organization. This is the end of today's lecture. Drop your comments and questions below. Have a blessed day.